Chapter 3251. Yeah, I've felt that way since I was a kid. How did your dad stand it all these years? Ning was curious. You don't know. My mom is very nice to my dad. She's as gentle as a lamb in front of my dad. She's just like that to us. Okay, your mom's so scheming. Yeah, if she wasn't scheming, she wouldn't have gotten rid of a bunch of love rivals and become the young mistress of the Tang family. A fight between rich families? Ning was speechless. Yeah, so, are you scared? What should I be scared of? Ning was confused. What if another woman tries to steal me in the future? That's easy. I'll just break your legs. Damn, another woman is seducing me. Shouldn't I break her? Tang Chuan was speechless. It's useless to break them. Even if one dies, there are still thousands of other women. There are so many women in this world, but I can start with you. If I break your legs, no one will want to be with you. After all, you won't be able to do anything. Damn, then you won't be a widow? Tang Chuan wasn't convinced. No. You're thinking too much. I can cheat on you. Tang Chuan was speechless. Ning, you're so ruthless. Tang Chuan was completely speechless. You flatter me. Ning smiled proudly. I'm not convinced by anything, but I'm convinced by you. How women are indeed the most vicious. Women should not only be ruthless to themselves, but even more ruthless to men. Which magazine did you read that from? This one. It's from Ning's quotes. Ning said seriously. Tang Chuan was speechless. The two of them continued to be lovey-dovey. On the other side of town, Su Yu's mansion. Su Yu came back late from dinner with a client. This client was an old one and had a good relationship with Su Yu. The two hadn't seen each other in a long time, so they drank a few more glasses. When Su Yu came back, his head was dizzy. And helped her into the living room. You're back? Wearing pajamas, Zheng Ro was watching a TV show on the first floor with a cup of coffee. Is he drunk? Zheng Ro asked quietly as she watched Su Yu walk unsteadily. Yes. I met a regular customer and drank a lot. And nodded his head. Then help him rest for a while. I'll go make him a cup of tea to sober him up. Okay, thank you, Miss Zheng. Su Yu always thought Zheng Ro was very scheming but unliked her. Since that time, Zheng Ro had become normal. The three of them lived in the same villa, but they minded their own business. Now that Su Yu was drunk, she even took the initiative to make tea for him. And thought that she was a good girl. After making the tea, Zheng Ro handed it to him. You can bring it to him. Why don't you go? And was curious. I'm afraid he'll vomit even more after seeing my face. Then Zheng Ro turned around and went upstairs with her phone. She didn't plan to stay for long. Feeling conflicted and walked over with the hot tea. President Su, have some tea. Okay. Su Yu nodded and took the teacup dizzily. President Su, you should go to bed after drinking the tea. It's late. And wait a moment. What is it? Do you think it's too low of me to give Mion's brother a modified Mustang for his engagement? Su Yu tilted his head and asked with the teacup in his hand. Boss, it's worth more than 2 million yuan. How can it be low of you? I really don't know your values. How about I give him a new one? Do you think a Lamborghini, a Porsche, or a Ferrari is better? Do you know what kind of car Jixing likes? Su Yu seemed to treat Huamin's brother's engagement as a big deal. Chapter 3252. President Su, I don't think you need to do this. He's Miss Hua's younger brother. Yeah, but Mion only has one younger brother, Su Yu emphasized. But President Su, don't blame me for being blunt. I think President Qin is rich and won't mistreat his brother-in-law. Last time I saw Jixing driving a new Maybach that President Qin bought for him. Oh, you're right. Qin Chu must have bought him everything. What should I give him? Jewelry? Antiques? President Su, didn't Miss Hua say that she won't accept gifts? She's keeping a low profile this time and didn't do it publicly. It's her business whether she accepts or not. It's my business whether I give her gifts or not. Su Yu was stubborn. And didn't say anything because he thought he wouldn't get anything out of arguing with his boss. Su Yu had a headache from drinking too much, so he sat on the sofa drinking tea and watching TV. And was so sleepy that he went back to his room to sleep. An hour later, Zheng Ro came downstairs and found Su Yu still asleep on the sofa. Su Yu? She called. The person on the sofa didn't respond at all. Hey Su Yu, can you hear me? She asked again. Seeing that Su Yu didn't respond at all, Zheng Ro dared to walk over. She took out an air-conditioned blanket from the cabinet in the living room and covered Suyu with it carefully. Although it was summer, it was still cold in the middle of the night. Suyu drank too much, so Zheng Ro thought he might catch a cold easily, so she covered him with the blanket. However, when Zheng Ro covered him and was about to leave, Suyu grabbed her hand. To be more precise, he hugged her. You. Zheng Ro thought Suyu was awake and was about to speak when Suyu said drowsily, Mion. Zheng Ro's body trembled slightly. Sure enough, Suyu's infatuation with Huamin was not a bluff. It seemed that it had really penetrated deep into his bones. She had already given birth to 2 children and was even pregnant, yet he still could not forget her. Me on my ass. Let go of me. Zheng Ro was also angry. Not only did this guy take advantage of her and touch her hand, but he even mistook her for someone else. How embarrassing. Mion, don't go. No matter what Suyu said, Zheng Ro was both angry and amused. She pulled her hand back. Then she put on her slippers and went upstairs. But now she was more curious about one thing. Who exactly was this woman, Huamin? She had checked the information before. She looked average in the photo. She was very delicate and pretty, but she could not be said to be a beauty. She was a far cry from many female celebrities and models. Her looks were indeed very plain, and it was said that her family background was also very ordinary, even a little miserable. However, this woman was the reason why the young president of GK doted on her so much. After she got married and had children, she made Suyu fall head over heels in love with her. There were even rumors that Huamin was very vicious and could seduce men because she spent a lot of money to hire a Thai witch doctor. That was why all the men around her were like this. However, Zheng Ro thought that this rumor was ridiculous. How could such excellent men like Suyu and Qin Chu fall head over heels in love with a woman like this? She was definitely not an ordinary woman. It seemed that Zheng Ro's desire to see Huamin grew even stronger. At first she was curious about Suyu's infatuation, but now she suddenly wanted to see how this woman named Huamin was able to receive such love. Midnight at South Hill Manor. As the months went by, Huamin woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom more and more often. She woke up in a daze and was surprised to find that Qin Chu was gone again. Chapter 3253. Honey. Honey. Huamin called out from the room, but she didn't get a response. Huamin went to the bathroom first. When she came out, she carefully opened the door and walked out. As expected, there was a faint light coming from the study. Honey. Huamin gently pushed open the door. Qin Chu looked up in surprise. He didn't expect Huamin to wake up in the middle of the night. He wasn't working. His computer was off. Qin Chu was sitting on the chair with the dim light on. He still had an unfinished cigarette in his hand. Honey, why are you up? Qin Chu asked as he quickly got up and put out the cigarette. I got up to go to the bathroom, but you were gone, so I came out. Huamin pouted, looking sad. Ever since she came back from abroad, she had been feeling very insecure. She was always worried that Qin Chu wouldn't be by her side. Maybe she was traumatized. It's okay. I won't run away. Qin Chu walked over, took off his jacket and wrapped it around Huamin. Honey, I'm not cold. Good girl. Put it on. You're pregnant. You can't be careless. Why are you so late? Why aren't you asleep? Huamin thought Qin Chu looked pale and haggard. I still have some work to do. I didn't finish it at the company. Are you in a hurry? Yeah, I'm in a hurry, so I worked through the night. So, are you done? Yeah, I'm done. I wanted to smoke a cigarette and go to bed. If you're not done, I'll help you, Huamin said. How could I use you? Pregnant women in my family are precious. You're as precious as a panda. Qin Chu teased her on purpose. Peach, I'm not a panda. That guy is lazy and greedy. I'm the hardworking Dr. Hua. Hey, Dr. Hua. Let's go back to bed. Staying up late is bad for the baby. Yes. Huamin nodded and obediently followed Qin Chu back to the room. Huamin turned off the lights and went to bed twice. This time Huamin did not fall asleep quickly. She secretly closed her eyes, but she didn't fall asleep. About 40 minutes later, she secretly opened her eyes. With the help of the moonlight, she realized that Qin Chu was still awake. However, it was already 2:30 in the morning. If he didn't sleep now, the sun would rise. Huamin did not ask him again, because she vaguely felt that Qin Chu seemed to be hiding something from her. The next morning Qin Chu went to work after breakfast and the twins went to school. Huamin packed up and went out. A young lady, where are you going? The driver and bodyguard walked over respectfully. I'm going to my friend's house as a guest. Let's drive to the Wei's villa, Huamin said. Okay, a young lady. Just like that, Huamin asked Xiaowei to go to Wei Liao's house after breakfast. Jiang Xiaowei was not in good health recently. She had been on leave and did not go to work much. Therefore she was the only one at home every day. Wei Liao went to work and the children went to school. She had a lot of free time. She even learned how to arrange flowers. The Wei's villa was very artistic. It was all thanks to Jiang Xiaowei. Huamin liked the atmosphere here very much. She and Jiang Xiaowei were in the greenhouse in the back garden, enjoying the air conditioning and watching Jiang Xiaowei trim the newly bought flowers. Xiaowei, I actually came here today to ask you for a favor, Huamin said directly. Do we still need to use the word favor between us? Don't give me that, just say it. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin with a smile. Xiaowei, I beg you, tell me what Qin Chu is hiding from me. You must know, right? Huamin asked with a bit of heartache. Mian, what are you talking about? Jiang Xiaowei replied unnaturally. Chapter 3254. Xiaowei, don't hide it anymore. Since I'm here to ask you, I must know. I want the answer, the truth, not your perfunctory answer, even if it's out of kindness. You know, my friend. Huamin didn't say much, but this simple sentence made Jiang Xiaowei completely surrender. She also knew that it was probably better for Huamin not to know. However, now that she had a rough idea, there was no point in hiding it anymore. With Huamin's IQ, it was difficult for him to continue lying. In the end, Jiang Xiaowei sighed softly. Mian, I'm sorry, I didn't want to hide it from you. You don't have to apologize, even you hid it from me, you must have your reasons. I guess that it was better for me not to know about this, but now that I know, you should tell me the whole thing or else I won't be able to sleep and eat in peace. I know your personality. If that's the case, fine. I'll go back on my word to Qin Chu. Jiang Xiaowei made herself a cup of coffee. She poured a cup of warm water for Huamin and placed it in front of him. Then Jiang Xiaowei told Huamin what happened, starting from the day she fell off the cliff and Qin Chu vomited blood and fainted. Huamin only heard the first sentence and tears welled up in his eyes. When he came back, he only heard from everyone that Qin Chu was unwell and was hospitalized. However, the part where he vomited blood and fainted was so soul-stirring. The others didn't tell Huamin in detail. This was also something that Qin Chu told him not to say. Huamin knew that he had always been afraid that she would worry. Qin Chu had always wanted Huamin to live in a pure and beautiful world under his protection. She wanted him to face all the bad things alone, but as husband and wife they were one. How could she let him bear everything alone? 4 years ago, Qin Chu had already suffered too much. Others might not be able to empathize with him, but Huamin understood. After being together for so many years, the two of them still had this bit of tacit understanding. Qin Chu no longer takes that kind of medicine because it will hurt his liver. However, it still can't cure paranoid personality disorder. I studied psychology so I can be considered an expert in the field of personality analysis, so I know how serious his problem is. This kind of mental illness can even follow some people for a lifetime and be tortured to death. What you are seeing now is Qin Chu's inability to sleep at night. Severe insomnia should be just one of the symptoms. Huamin raised her head and asked Jiang Xiaowei calmly as tears streamed down her face. What if I continue to suffer from insomnia? Jiang Xiaowei's heart ached as she looked at Huamin. You are also a doctor, so you should know that other than the mental torment that normal people can't feel, some people with weak mental states would want to commit suicide. However, Mr. Huamin won't do that. He believes in you and our children, so he won't do anything stupid. However, if he continues to suffer from insomnia, his heart won't be able to take the burden. Eventually, his heart will slowly fail and his lifespan will be much shorter than a normal person's. After Jiang Xiaowei finished speaking, she didn't dare to look Huamin in the eye. She knew how cruel Huamin's words were to such a calm person. Huamin didn't cry or throw a tantrum after hearing this. That wasn't her personality. She only cried quietly. After a while, she raised her head and asked Jiang Xiaowei, so for the past 4 years, my husband has been silently enduring all of this by himself. Chapter 3255. Mian, Qin Chu really loves you. He's always shown you the best side of him and you've always seen the best side of him. He's willing to take on all the bad things, the darkness and the evilness. There's no other man like him in the world. Wei Liao loves me very much too, but he can't be like Qin Chu. He can't bear to hurt you even a little bit. You're really lucky. Xiaowei, now you understand why I only love him after all these years. Huamin bit her lip as tears flowed down her face. Yes, I've wavered before. Maybe it was because of Wei Liao's influence that I thought Suyu loved you without any reciprocation. However, you didn't even show him any tenderness and kept a distance from him. Even when you were pregnant and thought Qingchu was dead, so you took care of you and your mother for many years, but you still wouldn't let him get close to you. At that time we thought you were too cold-blooded, too rational and unreasonable. Now we finally understand that your man is so good. No one in the world loves you more than he does. Jiang Xiaowei also cried when she said these words. Even as a bystander she felt that it wasn't easy for Qingchu and Huamian to be together all these years. Qingchu was especially good at enduring. He never mentioned a lot of grievances and did a lot of things for Huamin. He didn't even need to let Huamin know. How many men in the world could do that? Huamin picked up a tissue and gently wiped her tears. Then she said in a choked voice, I've always known that Suyu is good to me. I'm not an idiot, so how could I not know? I'll always remember the kindness of the Suyu family. As long as Suyu needs it, I'm willing to give up my life, but I'll never use myself to repay the kindness. That would be too unfair to Qingchu. At that time I thought that even if he died I wouldn't accept anyone else. That would be blasphemy to our relationship. Now it seems that my persistence all these years was right. You all thought, and even I thought, that I've done enough for Qingchu. But now it seems that what I've done is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not even 1/10 of what he has done. Xiaowei, in this life I only love him. He's the only one I'll ever love. I know. Jiang Xiaowei's eyes reddened and she was slightly moved. As a good friend she had watched them go through so much together. It wasn't easy. How many people had fallen in love since high school and stayed by each other's side for so many years? Even death couldn't separate them. Huamin suddenly cried even harder. Every time she thought about how Mr. Qin had suffered from this paranoid personality disorder for the past 4 years, she felt as if someone had stabbed her heart. It was so painful that she was about to suffocate. Mian, control your emotions. You're pregnant, you have to worry about the baby. Seeing how emotional Huamin was, Jiang Xiaowei was also worried. She stood up, walked over and gently patted Huamian's back. Huamin held Jiang Xiaowei's hand tightly. Her wrist was already wet from her tears. Xiaowei, can he be cured? Huamin's voice was drowned out by her sobs. It was obvious how sad she was. Of course you can. Mr. Qin is just worried about you and doesn't feel safe. I think if you stay by his side for a long time he'll get better. But what if he can't sleep? He can't sleep at night. He's getting more and more haggard these days. How can I help him? Huamin didn't even remember that she was a doctor at this moment. She thought about things from a doctor's point of view. Instead she became a patient's family member. All she felt was worry and heartache. Chapter 3256. You have to take it slow. You have to know that the surgery was very successful. He's no longer under the influence of drugs that damaged his liver, Jiang Xiaowei comforted. Huamin didn't say anything after that. He just kept crying. Half an hour later he finally calmed down. Xiaowei, I'm a little hungry, Huamin said as he looked up. Oh my god, you're finally okay. I thought you were possessed by the white snake and were about to flood the Golden Mountain, Jiang Xiaowei joked. Dr. Jiang, stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and get me something to eat, Huamin said jokingly as he wiped his tears. Hey, what do you want to eat? Your little ancestor wants shrimp dumplings. Oh, Cantonese food. You're so hard to cook. Okay, I'll ask my chef to prepare it. Be patient. Then Jiang Xiaowei ordered the chef to prepare lunch. She was afraid that Huamin would be hungry, so she washed a lot of fruits and took out a pudding from the fridge. This is a little cold. Eat it slowly. I don't know why, but ever since I gave birth, every time I eat pudding I think of my eldest daughter. It's been a long time since I last ate pudding. If you don't want to eat it, give it to me. Jiang Xiaowei was about to snatch the pudding away. No, I can eat one behind your back. Huamin was like a child. He smiled and hid the pudding in his arms. Both of them had high IQ. After they vented, they didn't mention what just happened. It was about Qingchu and his paranoid personality disorder. After they finished eating at Jiang Xiaowei's house, Huamin left in the car. Before they left, Jiang Xiaowei put her arm around Wei Yi's shoulder and whispered in her ear, I'm an expert in this area. Remember to talk to me whenever you feel uncomfortable. Don't hold it in by yourself. I know. Huamin nodded. After he said goodbye to Jiang Shaowei, he left the Wei mansion. A young lady, are we going home? No, let's go to the company, Huamin instructed as he sat in the car. All right. Half an hour later, GK President's office. After the meeting, Qin Chu walked to his office with a sullen face. The subordinates behind him looked anxious. President Qin, I've been planning this for a long time. Can you give me another chance? You've already missed your chance. Qin Chu's voice was very cold. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. It's the first time my partner has stood me up. Maybe something happened over there. Our department worked overtime for 3 months to come up with this plan. President Qin. There's no need to say any more. This matter ends here. I don't care if it's a problem with the partners or you. In short, I don't see a satisfactory result. I gave you a chance, so let's leave it at that. With a bang, Qin Chu closed the glass door of his office. He kept the man outside the door. After the man hit a wall, he looked disappointed. Finally, he paced around the door for a while before leaving. After Qin Chu came in, the atmosphere was very tense. He loosened his tie and sat on the office chair. He used his right thumb and middle finger to press on his temples. In fact, he had a lot of work to do every day. It was just that he had been getting less and less sleep recently, which caused him to be mentally and physically exhausted. Before, he couldn't sleep at all. Now that Huamin was back, he could sometimes sleep for an hour or so. This was already a big improvement. However, a normal person's brain and heart couldn't take it if they didn't sleep well. As a result, he wasn't in a good state of mind. Qin Chu closed his eyes and was thinking about the company's new project when a pair of gentle hands reached out from his hand. She put her hands on his shoulders and massaged him. Chapter 3257. Smelling that familiar scent, Qin Chu's heart instantly softened. Honey. Qin Chu raised his hands and placed them on Huamin's fair little hands. Why are you here? I missed you. Huamin coquettishly wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck and pressed her face tightly against his. Why didn't you call me in advance? I'm here to check on you and see if you're having an affair with the female secretary, Huamin said deliberately. You're being very disrespectful to Yang. Qin Chu smiled faintly. What if little Yang went to Thailand for surgery one day? It's not impossible. Why don't I call him in and you can ask him? Qin Chu was amused. Oh ha, I'm just kidding. You're so boring. Huamin stood up and was about to leave. However, Qin Chu hugged her tightly. Are you heavy? Heavy. Qin Chu nodded. Do you want to die? How dare you call me fat? Huamin looked up and was about to punch Qin Chu. She heard him say, You've always been so heavy in my heart. So heavy. Huamin's heart instantly melted. She tightened her arms around Qin Chu's neck. Qin Chu smiled and patted her hand. Honey, I can't breathe. Do you want to strangle me? Honey. Emichim. I won't disappear. I'll never disappear again. I'll always be by your side. So you'll always be by my side. Don't think I'm annoying, okay? I won't. Even if I'm old and not pretty anymore, I won't mind, Huamin emphasized. Honey, I want to say that you weren't pretty when you were young, okay? Huamin, our friendship is over. Huamin pouted. Don't, I'm joking. Our friendship is over. Huamin tilted his head. Someone just swore to me that she wouldn't disappear and would stay with me. Mr. Qin immediately took out the death exemption medallion. Fuck, I finally know what it means to dig a hole and jump into it myself. Huamin laughed. Are you hungry? I'll take you to get something to eat. Qin Chu looked at Huamian lovingly, his heart filled with happiness. I'm not hungry. I ate at Xiaowei's house. You went to look for Dr. Jiang? Yes. You didn't go shopping? No, I'm just going to visit her house. She's been obsessed with flower arrangement recently, Huamin said calmly. She didn't mention it at all. She didn't want Qin Chu to know that she already knew the truth. Since he wanted to hide it, she would continue to pretend that she didn't know. Yes, that's not bad. He's too domineering. It's good that she's more feminine, Qin Chu commented. Honey, I bought you lunch. There's a surprise? Qin Chu was a bit surprised. Yes, guess what it is? Huamin smiled mysteriously. What's the reward for guessing correctly? A kiss as a reward. No, that's not enough. A 5-minute wet kiss will do, Mr. Chin said decisively. You're so perverted. Huamin smiled shyly. If I can't guess correctly, I'll give you a wet kiss, Chin Chu said. Damn, it's not that easy. Don't even think about it. If you guess correctly, you'll give me 1,000,000 yuan through WeChat, Huamin said proudly. So, honey, you're not here to bring me lunch. You're here to blackmail me, right? Mr. Chin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So, do you want to guess? You only have one chance. Where is it? Chin Chu asked. I hid it. Chin Chu. Chapter 3258. Honey, then I'll just give you 1,000,000. I don't want 1,000,000. It's not fun at all. I want you to guess. Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't even show him the food, so he had no idea where to start. But seeing that his wife was so interested and in such a good mood, Chin Chu had every right to play along. If I get it right on the first try, don't cry, Chin Chu said. You definitely won't get it right, Huamin said proudly. Huamin thought that Chin Chu would pick his favorite dish and guessed that it was Oaxian's ramen. After all, they shared a lot of memories in that small noodle restaurant. But Mr. Chin wasn't such a vulgar person. It should be hot pot, Chin Chu said. You, how did you know? Huamin was shocked. Give me my reward first, we'll talk about the rest later. Then Mr. Chin sealed Huamin's mouth and kissed her passionately for a few minutes. If it wasn't daytime and they weren't in the office, Huamian would have kissed her. She was almost about to have some improper thoughts. I know the driver and the bodyguard told you, right? Huamin said. After all, only the driver and the bodyguard knew that she went to buy hot pot. But I didn't call them. Chin Chu looked calm. Huamin knew that her husband wasn't a gossipy person. That doesn't make sense. Shouldn't you guess that it's ramen? Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. No way. You told me so confidently that I definitely wouldn't have guessed it. It's definitely not ramen, Wang Yao said. I've been dumb for 3 years, I'm so stupid. Huamian felt like her IQ wasn't enough anymore. She wondered if it had been snatched away by the baby in her belly. Last night I heard you say that you wanted to eat hot pot. With your personality, you will definitely eat whatever you want to eat. Just now you said that you would have shrimp dumplings for lunch at Xiaowei's house, so I guess that you might bring me hot pot. Hubby, it's such a pity that you don't want to be a detective. Your reasoning is really unparalleled. Chin Chu was a person who was good at noticing details. Huamin liked this very much. He had liked him since high school. So, honey, where's my hot pot? Chin Chu hugged Huamin and asked. Huamin pressed the intercom. Yang, can we eat now? All right, madam. You and President Chin can come to the small conference room. All right. With that, Huamin stood up. Go. Honey, I'm convinced. Chin Chu was also surprised. It turned out that not only did Huamin prepare hot pot, but he also asked Yang to prepare it in the small conference room. The small conference room was air-conditioned. When they walked in, they saw a small Mandarin duck hot pot on the table. It was different from the electromagnetic hot pot and natural gas hot pot. Instead, it was a small Mandarin duck hot pot that burned alcohol. One side was slightly spicy and the other side was clear soup. The small hot pot was surrounded by ingredients for hot pot. Fresh sliced beef, lobster balls, mushroom balls, crab sticks, lotus leaf noodles, tofu skin, and 4 or 5 types of vegetables. Madam prepared it with great care. President Chin, please eat. Yang, sit down with us, Huamin said. I'll pass. Yang scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. It's okay. I bought a lot. Sit down and let's eat together. Go and see if Xixin and Bella have eaten. If not, call them over. Just like that, the hot pot for 2 became a hot pot for 5. Huamin did buy a lot of ingredients and the 5 of them ate with relish in the small conference room. Sis, have you settled everything for the engagement banquet? Is there anything else you need me to do? Xixin asked as he ate. Chapter 3259. Yeah, that's about it. You and brother-in-law spent a lot of money on me this time, right? Yeah. Huamin nodded. I feel like I'm a leech. I've been relying on you and brother-in-law ever since I graduated. So, instead of relying on us, you're going to rely on others? Did they let you? Sis, you're not talking to me properly. It's okay, Xixin. From now on you can work for GK for free. You don't need to be paid. You'll be able to repay our kindness to you, Huamin said. You're so evil. Jixin smiled bitterly. Don't listen to your sister. She's just teasing you, Qinchu said. I know, brother-in-law. I didn't take it seriously. What I meant was you'll still get paid. Then you can slowly pay back the money we spent on you over the years, Qinchu said in all seriousness. Jixin, Yang lowered his head and ate a fish ball. He couldn't help but laugh. He even accidentally bit into a pissing meatball and spat the soup all over himself. We're talking to Jixin. Why are you so excited? Do you want to be like him? Huamin glanced at Yang. I don't know anything. I didn't hear anything. Just like that, the meal was finished in a harmonious atmosphere. Huamin was about to go home. When they went downstairs, Jixin took the same elevator as her. When they reached the 19th floor, Bella went to work. Only the siblings were left in the elevator. Sis. Yeah. So you called me yesterday. Why? He asked me what I wanted as a gift for my engagement. He also said that he would give me a car. What did you say? Huamin asked nonchalantly. Of course I couldn't accept it. To you as your friend. We're not that close. I'm not that shameless. Plus, brother-in-law already gave me a Maybach. I can't accept it. Well, then I'll politely refuse. I refused, but Suyu insisted on giving us something. Even if he didn't give us a car, he would at least give us something else. Didn't you tell him that we don't accept gifts? Jixin asked. I did. Then why did he? Jixin didn't say anything else. He glanced at his sister and saw that Huamin had a complicated expression on her face. I'll handle this. All right. Then I'll be leaving. Sister, be careful. You're already pregnant. You have to be careful when walking up and down the stairs. I understand. Huamin nodded and came out. She originally wanted to go home, but after hearing what Jixin said, she felt that she had to go see Suyu. After all, there were some things that couldn't be explained in a short period of time through WeChat. Things went wrong, so you might be upset. Let's go to Imperial Star, Huamin said after they got into the car. Okay, madam. When Huamin went to Imperial Star, she ran into Zheng Ro. In fact, she wasn't here to see Suyu. She was here to see the stars of Imperial Star. But Zheng Ro recognized Huamin at first glance. So she followed him into the elevator. You're Huamin, right? Zheng Ro suddenly asked. Huamin glanced at the girl beside him indifferently. I am. Do you know who I am? You're Zheng Ro, Huamin said. You know me? Zheng Ro was dumbfounded. She had thought that Huamin didn't know who she was. I've seen your Weibo, Huamin said. So you follow my Weibo? Oh. My daughter showed me your photo when it was all over the news. Huamin was very calm. I see. Are you here to see Suyu? Yeah. Then, before you go see him, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Zheng Ro asked politely. Chapter 3260. But I don't think we have anything to talk about. Huamin didn't like women who liked Suyu. Zhao Qingya and Jian Tong were among the women who liked Suyu. Huamin liked Cici's sister the most. Unfortunately, Suyu didn't like her. Love couldn't be forced. Huamin really hoped that Suyu could have a good girl by his side. But in the end it was still up to Suyu. Therefore Huamin coldly rejected this girl named Zheng Ro's invitation for the first time. She didn't want to have the same meaningless conversation as before. Fine. It seems you're hostile to me, said Zheng Ro. You misunderstood, Miss Zheng. I don't know you well. How could I be hostile to you? Then why don't you have the guts to have coffee with me? Zheng Ro questioned. That's because we don't know each other well. But it's exactly because we don't know each other that we can get to know each other better over coffee. If that's the case, why don't you just tell me your purpose? What is it this time? Do you want to warn me to stay away from Suyu, or do you want to show me that you're Suyu's girlfriend? It seems you put me in the same category as those other women. Zheng Ro smiled. Aren't you? Huamin looked at the woman calmly. To be honest, she really didn't know him and didn't want to cause trouble. Huamin, I'm different from those other women. You can let down your guard. I'm not hostile to you. I admit that I'm interested in Suyu, but I know that Suyu likes you. It's his business, not yours. It's useless for me to pick a fight with you. I just want to know more about him from you. Please. So I asked you to have coffee with me because I want you to do me a favor. Although it's a bit shameless and you can refuse, I think you want your good friend Suyu to be happy too, since you're living a happy life with a happy family. Am I right? Zheng Rou's words made Huamin reevaluate her. This girl wasn't simple at all. She was very intelligent. She wasn't a trashy girl who only knew how to create hype. That wasn't the case at all. What he said just now contained too many mysteries. Huamin really couldn't refuse. If he refused, it would be like he couldn't bear to see Suyu happy. After a while, Huamin smiled. Miss Zheng, you're very smart. No. Compared with you, I'm far from enough. I don't want to play any tricks. I just want to tell you why I came. But I'm definitely different from those other women. I won't bring you trouble. Please give me a chance even if you don't want to be my friend, Zheng Rou said sincerely. She seemed to have done a lot of research and knew what kind of woman Huamin was. So, playing tricks in front of Huamin was like showing off one's slight skill in front of an expert. In the end, Huamin nodded and agreed. It was because Zheng Rou said, "You're so happy now. You want your good friend Suyu to be happy too, right?" Yes, Huamin wanted Suyu to be happy more than anyone else. Such a kind and excellent man deserved to have his own happiness. So, instead of giving Zheng Rou a chance, Huamin was giving Suyu a chance. Seeing Huamin nod, Zheng Rou smiled slightly. The two of them were sitting in a cafe on a commercial street behind Imperial Star. "Miss, what can I do for you?" the waiter asked politely. "Blue Mountain coffee for me and warm water for her," Zheng Rou said. Chapter 3261. Before Huamin could speak, Zheng Rou said with a smile, "I heard you're 3 months pregnant. Congratulations." "Thank you." Huamin praised this woman for her thoughtfulness. She knew she was pregnant and couldn't drink coffee, so she ordered warm water. "Before I saw you, I saw many photos of you. After seeing you in person, I realized you look different from the photos," Zheng Rou said with a smile. "Oh, what's different?" Huamin drank the warm water elegantly, looking as calm as ever. Photos can show a person's general appearance and facial features, but they can't capture their charm. You look closer in person. "Really? I've always wondered what kind of woman could make a man like Suyu fall in love with her without regret. Although I don't know you well, I feel a strong magnetic field around you that can calm people down. No matter how restless a person is, they can calm down in front of you." "Miss Zheng, you flatter me. I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not as scary as the media says," Huamin said modestly. "Your fans on Weibo call you Dr. Hua." "Yeah. That's because of my job. Many people go to my place to register and see a doctor. They're used to calling me doctor. I like it too." "Suyu likes it too," Zheng Rou said. Huamin's hand that was holding the glass paused awkwardly. "I'm not saying this to embarrass you. I've been living in Suyu's mansion for a while." "Yeah. I heard you two are dating." Huamin looked up at Zheng Rou. "We're fake. I'm helping Suyu and he's doing the same to prevent my family from forcing me to go on blind dates. We're partners," Zheng Rou told Huamin the truth. "Oh, I see." Huamian continued to lower her head calmly. No one knew what she was thinking. "But I really admire Suyu." "Yes, he is very outstanding and deserves to be admired by many girls," Huamin praised. "So even though he's so outstanding, you've never fallen for him?" Zheng Rou asked her. Huamin raised his head with a complicated look in his eyes. This question was difficult to answer. "Don't look at me like that. I didn't prepare any recordings or cameras. I'm not trying to trick you. I just really think that Suyu is very outstanding. He's been by your side for so many years. Have you really never been moved by him? Have you ever loved someone?" Huamin asked Zheng Rou. "Of course." Zheng Rou suddenly thought of her heartless boyfriend. "No, the love I'm talking about is not the kind of love that you understand. It's when you love someone with all your life, to the point where you don't care about life and death." "That's not true." Zheng Rou shook her head. Although she liked that scumbag, she wasn't willing to die for him. If you love someone with all your life and death, you'll know that your heart, mind, and eyes are all filled with that person. No matter how excellent the people around you are or how good they are to you, you'll be indifferent to them. Humans have evolved for so many years and are at the top of the food chain. They should be the most loyal creatures in the world, but the current social environment has changed a lot of things. "I know what you mean. You're saying that you only have your husband in your heart. You only love him no matter how excellent the others are." Zheng Rou summarized what Huamin was trying to say. Huamin smiled slightly. "Something like that. Dr. Hua, you look good when you smile. I saw a picture of you on Suyu's phone. You're wearing a doctor's white coat and glasses. You're very beautiful. So, should I take your words as a compliment or an insult? Huamin looked at Xingro quietly. Chapter 3262. To be honest, I think it's more like a compliment because I can't get anything from you. I don't need to lick your boots. You're not a streamer and I'm not a fan, right? Xingro said frankly. Okay, but I don't like your compliment. Huamin lowered his head again and said in a low voice. Dr. Hua, thank you for having coffee with me today. Let's call it a day. Xingro stood up gracefully. Aren't you going to ask me what Suyu likes and dislikes? Have you done your homework? Huamin thought Xingro wanted to get some useful information from him. After all, know your enemy and know yourself and you'll win every battle. Many women had used this method before, although they didn't succeed. Xingro smiled. No, I don't think it's useful. If Suyu likes you, he'll like you if you're a baked potato. If Suyu doesn't like me, I'll be a lobster and it'll be a waste of effort. So his mood depends on the person, not these things. Hey, that's a good idea. You've impressed me. Huamin admired this woman. It's nothing. It is like my true self. Someone once suggested that I imitate your temperament, dress like you and even get a job in the hospital. But I refused because no matter how well I imitate you, I can't surpass you. I think the most important thing between people is honesty. Maybe I'm like this, a little neurotic and a little manly, but I still hope that Suyu will like me one day, the real me without any disguise. Good. For this reason alone, I hope you can succeed, Huamin said sincerely as he stood up slowly. Thank you, Dr. Hua. I hope I can have afternoon tea with you in the future. Xingro paid the bill at the counter and waited for Huamin at the door. I'll go now. You can go upstairs, Xingro said. All right. I won't tell Suyu that we've met. Don't worry. Huamin thought Xingro was afraid that he would tell Suyu about their meeting. With Suyu's personality, he should have lost his temper. No, I'm not worried about that. I just want to say that you're pregnant now. You have to be careful when you go up and down the stairs. Thank you. Just like that, the two women parted ways downstairs. When Huamin was about to go upstairs, he passed by a dessert shop and bought 2 ice cream cones. When Huamin reached the top floor, Suyu was in the middle of a video conference. President Hua, why are you here? Shaowen was surprised to see Huamin. I'm here to look for Suyu. President Su is having a video conference inside. It's okay. I'll wait at the door until he finishes. Huamin smiled. Oh, I think you'd better go in. If President Su knows that I made you wait at the door, he'll break my legs. Huamin, it's true. I don't want to be the scapegoat. If you don't believe me, just watch. Shaowen picked up the intercom at the door and dialed a number. President Su, Dr. Hua is waiting for you at the door. Suyu immediately replied, What are you waiting for? Let her in. After hanging up, Shaowen gave Huamin a profound look. It meant that he was right, wasn't he? Huamin didn't think much of it. With a smile, he pushed open the door to Suyu's office. Chapter 3263. Why are you here? Suyu immediately turned off the video conference and stood up, looking pleasantly surprised. What? Am I not welcome? Don't talk nonsense. Sit down. Suyu hurried over. Huamin sat down on the sofa. Asking to get you a glass of water. You can't drink in your current state. No. I'm full of water. I'm eating ice cream. Do you want some? Huamin took out an ice cream and took a bite. He gave the other one to Suyu. This is for women to eat, right? How can a man eat ice cream? Forget it. I'll go out and give it to him. It'll be a pity if it melts. It's more than 10 yuan. Huamin stood up to go find a no. Give it back. Suyu changed his mind. Didn't you say men don't eat ice cream? Huamin looked disgusted. I mean, most men don't like it, but I'm okay with it. Huh. It's more than 10 yuan. Don't give it to him. It's expensive, Huamin. It's not as expensive as Haagen-Dazs. Stop fooling around, Mr. Rich. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Suyu stood up and naughtily snatched the ice cream away from Huamin and began to eat. Xingro was right. If a man likes you, everything you buy is good. Everything you do is right. If he didn't like you, you'd feel embarrassed even if you dug your heart out. Why did you suddenly come here? Why didn't you send me a WeChat message? I came out for a walk. You're a few months pregnant. Don't wander around. Stay at home and take care of the baby. I'm pregnant, not sick. I'm not that delicate, okay? Huamin chuckled. If you come out alone, Chin-Chu will be worried. I'm not alone. I brought bodyguards and a driver, Huamin emphasized. All right, you win. Suyu realized that Huamin's mouth really couldn't beat hers. If he said one sentence, she would say 10. Is it good? Huamin looked at Suyu, whose mouth was full of cream, and felt a little funny. Delicious. Now that you're done eating, I'll get down to business. Go ahead. I'm listening. Suyu knew that she wouldn't come to Imperial Star for no reason. It wasn't Huamin's character. Jishin told me that you were going to give him a gift. Yeah, isn't this kid getting engaged? I've prepared a gift for him. But we're not accepting gifts this time. Jishin and Bella wanted to keep it simple and low-key. That's why we chose a hotel owned by the company. We didn't invite the media, nor did we invite friends from the business world. We'll only invite our colleagues, family, and friends. It's because we're friends that I want to give him a gift. It's not good to go empty-handed. It's for luck. But you're too scary. Don't give him a car. Jishin has a car. My husband just replaced it. Then I'll give him a house. See, you didn't think much of it. I don't want a house. Then I'll give him jewelry, antiques, calligraphy, and paintings. I'll give him whatever he likes. Suyu seemed determined to give him a gift. Suyu, Jishin doesn't want anything. You don't have to give him a gift. Please don't do this, okay? Huamin's tone was pleading when he said this, and his eyes showed that he was in a difficult position. Suyu finally reacted. Did he do something wrong? Mion, did I cause you trouble? Suyu put down the unfinished ice cream in his hand and asked Huamin seriously. Chapter 3264. It's not a problem. We've been friends for so long, do you think I don't know what kind of person you are? Suyu lowered his head awkwardly, as if he knew that his stubbornness put Huamin in a difficult position. So you don't think too much. I'm not blaming you, I just think that you don't have to be too nice to Jishin. He already has everything and I don't want to teach him to show off his wealth and vanity. After all, he and I were born as commoners and we're different from you and Tang Chuan. I know. Suyu nodded. And this time no one is giving him gifts, only you. Are you stupid? Huamin looked at Suyu jokingly. I have money and I'm happy to do it, Suyu also joked. You're a typical rich fool. The two of them bickered and the atmosphere was no longer as awkward as before. How are you feeling now? Suyu looked at Huamin and suddenly asked. What do you mean? Aren't you 3 months pregnant? Do you feel any discomfort? You're talking about the second baby. He's very naughty and the fetal movements are a bit early and frequent, Huamin said as he held his stomach. Then, are you okay? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup? Suyu was a bit worried. I'm a doctor myself, so I'm fine. After Jishin's things are done, I'll go back to work. Then I'll be at the hospital every day and I'll be fine. If there are any problems, I'll be able to deal with them nearby. Pooh, don't say it like that. You'll be fine. Suyu was nervous. Why are you nervous? I'm really fine. Having a baby isn't a big deal. It's something that all women do. I'm not that unreasonable. You're already like this, why are you still going to work? I don't understand, Suyu complained. If you could understand, then I wouldn't be Huamin. Does Chin-Chu agree? That's too much. If you ask me, you should stay at home and take care of the baby, Suyu suggested. Mr. Chin agreed. He knows that I'm a person who can't sit still. Okay, I really don't understand you and your wife, but you really have to take care of yourself. I know, don't worry. Are you hungry? I'll take you to eat something. It's okay, I came from GK and had hot pot with my husband. I'm not hungry, I was just passing by and wanted to see you. Huamian didn't tell him directly that she was here because of what Jishin had told her. She didn't want to upset him. Then I'll ask someone to make you a glass of milk. Of you I is. I. TT of Steet. Go to the hotel earlier this weekend. Your friends need to help you out. Don't worry, I'll be there early. About the gift. Huamin glanced at Suyu worriedly. You don't have to walk me out, Suyu said on purpose. Huamian smiled in relief, waved her hand and walked out. And walk Mion downstairs and make sure she gets into the car, Suyu said worriedly. Okay, President Su. Huamin left Imperial Star and went to pick up the kids from school. On the way, the twins were sullen and didn't talk to their mother. What's wrong with you two today? Huamin looked at the twins. Pudding lowered her head and didn't speak with her cell phone in her hand. Little Bean couldn't help but look up. Mommy, I don't like Xingro. Can you get rid of her? Chapter 3265. Huamin. Mommy, don't tell me you don't remember her? She's the woman who's clinging to Handsome Sue's house, Little Bean emphasized. I know she's Xingro. He's really annoying. My sister and I both hate her, Little Bean said. Why? Huamin was confused. Because she's a scheming bitch. She came from another city and clung to Handsome Sue. She even exposed those disgusting things live-streamed in Handsome Sue's house and created a Weibo account. She's really disgusting. Women who use men to get ahead are the worst. Little Bean, you don't know her well. Don't jump to conclusions, Huamin explained patiently. I don't want to know her. I know she's not good enough for Handsome Sue, just like bitch Jian. Huamin was so angry that he laughed. Then who do you think is good enough for Handsome Sue? Little Bean thought for a moment and tilted her head to look at her sister. Sis, what do you think is good enough for Handsome Sue? Mommy's sudden question confused me. Pudding slowly raised her head and glanced at Little Bean and then at Mommy. Then she said, I think only an excellent woman like Mommy is good enough for Handsome Sue. Huamin was about to speak when Pudding said, but Mommy is already taken, and Daddy seems to be better than Handsome Sue. If your daddy heard that, he'd be smug. Huamin chuckled. So I think we're the only ones who are good enough for Handsome Sue, Pudding said. Pfft. Huamin almost spat out blood. Mommy, don't listen to her nonsense. She's just trying to scare you, Little Bean comforted her mother. Mommy, I have a selfish idea. Pudding's expression suddenly turned serious. What idea? I think Handsome Sue should be single for the rest of his life. Huamin, really? I think with his temper he won't fall in love with anyone else. I might as well spend my life like this. How can that be? The Sue family only has one son. Your great-grandfather, Lord Sue, and Grandma Sue only have one son, Sue Yu. Are you trying to end the Sue family line? Huamin objected firmly. Mommy, you're outdated. IVF is all the rage now, Pudding said. That's right, Mommy. We can ask Handsome Sue to do IVF and give birth to 7 babies. Little Bean smiled. Huamin. All right, let's end our chat here. Huamin felt that there was a serious generation gap between him and his daughters. There was no way he could communicate with them. He was going crazy. Mommy, if you don't help us, we'll have to deal with Xingro ourselves, Little Bean said. Everyone calm down. Don't cause any trouble, Huamin scolded. She knew her 2 daughters' tempers. They were especially hostile to the women around Suyu. Huamin didn't know what kind of person Xingro was or why she came to Suyu. But from the bottom of her heart she didn't want Suyu to be single for the rest of his life. If he couldn't find someone Suyu liked, he would marry someone who liked him. At least she could treat him gently for the rest of his life. Huamin was selfish when it came to love since she only had Qin-Chu in her heart. But when it came to friendship, she was sincerely disappointed that Suyu had someone to take care of him and stay by his side so that he wouldn't be lonely for the rest of his life. When they got home, the kids immediately ran around the living room happily. Huamin went upstairs to take a shower. Lying in bed to rest, he opened his WeChat Moments out of boredom and found it was especially lively today. Everyone was watching Tang Chuan. Chapter 3266. Didn't Qin Ning return to the United States to handle her resignation? Ever since Qin Ning got together with Tang Chuan, she didn't stay in the US anymore. Instead, she went back to China every other day. In the end, Qin Chu's second uncle agreed to let his daughter marry Tang Chuan, but Qin Ning had a lot of work in the US. So, even if she quit, she had to finish what she started. The Tang family had a lot of things to deal with recently, so Tang Chuan couldn't stay with Qin Ning and her father all the time. Qin Ning was in a good mood when she arrived in the US. Maybe it was because she was going to leave the US and come back to live, so many friends invited her to dinner every day. That night, during the day in the US, Qin Ning posted a group photo. In the photo, there was a handsome foreign man with his arm around Qin Ning's shoulder, smiling brightly. Qin Ning said sadly, "This is my best friend Jim. I've known him for many years." It wasn't a big deal, but Tang Chuan saw it and got jealous. He commented, "Where is he putting his hand?" Zhu Lingling, ha, someone's jealous. Jiang Xiaowei, I smell someone spilled a bottle of vinegar. Pudding, aunties, do you want to eat dumplings tonight? We have a lot of vinegar. Little Bean, to be honest, this man is a good match for my auntie. Tang Chuan replied to Little Bean, little brat, are you worthy of your uncle? Are you worthy of all the Haagen-Dazs I've treated you to? Little Bean replied to Tang Chuan, ha, I'm just saying. Uncle Tang, don't get so worked up. You're old and your heart is weak. Take it easy. Tang Chuan replied to Little Bean, you're adding insult to injury? Little Bean, I've been doting on you for nothing. When I see Gao Buin tomorrow, I'll tell him your true colors. Little Bean replied to Tang Chuan, go ahead, but Buin won't believe you. Other than his parents, he trusts me the most. Ha. Tang Chuan, look. You're still so young, but you already know how to show off your affection in front of me. Now that your aunt has left, you're bullying me because I'm single, right? Little Bean replied to Tang Chuan, it's such a lonely night. You can go find handsome Sue to keep you company. You don't have to turn into a jealous little man on WeChat. Ha. Pudding replied to Little Bean, handsome Sue is no longer single. He has a boyfriend in the villa. It's not appropriate for Uncle Tang to go. Tang Chuan wanted to cry but had no tears. Little brat, just keep playing. It hurts my heart, you know. Little Bean replied to Tang Chuan, you're the one I'm trying to prick. A fragile heart is a disease that needs to be treated and medicine must be taken. I'll introduce you to a good hospital, Southside Recuperation Center's neurology department. Dr. Huamin is the director of the hospital. She's pretty low-key and doesn't charge much. Tang Chuan replied to the twins, you're all bad people. Huamin almost burst out laughing when he saw the conversation. The scene of the twins bullying Tang Chuan was really cute. When Qin Chu came back, he saw Huamin lying on the bed and giggling with his cell phone. What are you looking at? You look so happy. Tang Chuan's WeChat moments. Huamin got up and showed his cell phone to Qin Chu. Qin Chu saw it and only smiled slightly. Pudding and Little Bean are really bullies. Your daughters never let themselves be bullied. By the way, is Su Yu's girlfriend real? Have you seen her before? Qin Chu asked casually. Then he took off his suit jacket and hung it in the closet. It's the first time I've seen her. Huamin didn't hide it. What kind? Is she Su Yu's type? Qin Chu was actually quite concerned about Su Yu. Chapter 3267. I don't know if that's the case, but it looks like that girl is different from the previous ones. Huamin recalled everything he knew about Zeng Ro. Oh. How so? Qin Chu was interested in Huamin's comment. I'm not sure. I just think the girl is smart but not scheming. Her words and actions are honest. Good. What did Su Yu say about her? Su Yu hasn't officially introduced her to us and we haven't been to his house to see her. Is the rumor true? Huamin chuckled. Let's see if Su Yu will bring her to Jixin's engagement party. Then they looked at each other and smiled. Su Yu's house, Zeng Ro had been here for some days. Bored, she cooked for herself every day. At first Su Yu was used to her cooking and never ate. But one day, when Zeng Ro was making pancakes and eating with an in the dining room, Su Yu took a bite and couldn't stop. Zeng Ro's cooking wasn't the best, but it was good. She even knew how to cook home-cooked dishes. Compared to the greasy food outside, her cooking was perhaps more earthly. Gradually, Su Yu got used to eating at home. Today Zeng Ro came home early and was making dumplings in a good mood. Well, Miss Ro, you're making dumplings today? And went over and asked. Yeah. What kind of filling? And asked again. Chives and eggs. But President Su loves to eat meat. He can't live without meat, and reminded her. If he likes it, he can eat it outside. I'm not making it for him. I like chives and eggs. And felt embarrassed for the president. What about you? Do you like vegetable fillings? Zeng Ro looked up and asked, and I'm okay with anything. And nodded. Then I'll make more. Let's eat together, Zeng Ro said as she picked up the dumpling wrappers and wrapped them delicately. What about President Su? And looked at Su Yu, who was watching TV. Let him be. He's rich and won't starve. Zeng Ro didn't ask Su Yu if he wanted to eat. She only made enough for 2 people. At dinner, Su Yu smelled the aroma and sat down at the table waiting for the food. And Zeng Ro looked at each other awkwardly. Su Yu. Zeng Ro's words. Yeah. Have you had dinner? Of course, why would I sit here and wait if I ate? Suyu rolled his eyes at her. Well, Shawan said you like meat stuffing. Yes, I do like meat. But the dumplings I made are vegetable fillings. Or you. Zheng Ro was about to shoo Suyu away from the table when he said, but I feel dizzy. She heard him say, however, eating meat these past few days has made me dizzy. My mom said that at my age I have to prevent high blood pressure or something. I can't eat meat all the time. I have to eat vegetables occasionally. Zheng Ro didn't dare to say more. Why are you standing there? Sit down. Suyu glanced at Zheng Ro and in President Su in fact Miss Zheng's dumplings, and was about to tell the truth and go to the kitchen to make some noodles. After all, he couldn't steal food from his master. Zheng Ro said, in fact, I'm a good cook. The dumplings must be delicious. You two should eat more. Then she put down the dumplings and turned to go upstairs. Hey, what about you? And looked at Zheng Ro. I'm on a diet. I'm not hungry. You guys eat. Looking at Zheng Ro's back as she went upstairs and felt bad. President Su in fact. And said awkwardly. In fact, she only made enough dumplings for the two of you. She didn't make enough for me, right? Suyu said. You knew. And was surprised. Suyu nodded. If you knew, why did you do it? And didn't understand his boss. She had to use the illusion that she was starving to gain Suyu's favor. It was also sad. With a slight sigh, she walked to the living room and was about to turn on the light. Are you hungry? A man was sitting on the sofa. Since the light was off, it was dark. Zheng Ro was startled. Are you a human or a ghost? She asked. Of course. Is there a ghost as handsome as me? Suyu pressed the remote control and turned on the dim light in the living room. The warm light fell on him. Wearing home clothes, Suyu looked more approachable than usual. Chapter 3269. It's late. Why aren't you sleeping? Zheng Ro tried to find a topic. I'm waiting for a lab rat to come down and steal food. Humph. If you didn't steal my dumplings, I wouldn't have to come down in the middle of the night to look for food. How dare you say that? If I knew your dumplings tasted so bad, I'd rather eat instant noodles, Suyu said. Whoa. Are you trying to take advantage of your seniority? Zheng Ro looked at Suyu, exasperated and amused. Yeah. What? Are you going to bite me? Forget it. I don't want to get rabies. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm hungry. Zheng Ro didn't want to talk to Suyu and was about to walk to the fridge. The fridge is empty. Damn it. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Zheng Ro turned to look at Suyu. There's bread here. I don't think it's hairy. Check it before you eat it. Then Suyu stood up and stuffed the bread into Zheng Ro's hand. Before she could react, Suyu continued. Tomorrow is little brother Mion's engagement party. You'll come with me. Zheng Ro didn't understand. Suyu didn't repeat himself. When he turned to go upstairs and almost reached the second floor, Zheng Ro finally understood. She asked excitedly, I can go to some events with you? Oh, it's your good friends. Suyu, are you in love with me? Zheng Ro asked the question jokingly to lighten the mood. To her surprise, Suyu stood on the second floor and glanced at Zheng Ro. Then he said faintly, if I had a girlfriend, Mion would be happier. Then I wouldn't cause her so much trouble. Then Suyu went up to the third floor and walked toward his bedroom. Damn it. That hurts. Zheng Ro stood there and murmured to herself. She had done her homework before coming here and knew that Suyu was a stubborn man who loved that woman wholeheartedly for a long time. His love for her had never changed. Before she came, Auntie Su had told her that her nephew had a fiery temper and it was normal for him to say unpleasant things. When he was angry, it was normal for him to throw Zheng Ro out. Zheng Ro was mentally prepared. She was even prepared to eat and drink at Suyu's house shamelessly. But tonight's conversation was really unexpected. She had thought that going out with him to meet his friends would be a form of recognition for her. However, Suyu clearly told her that everything was for Huamin. Because he had a girlfriend, Huamin was no longer troubled. Even though Zheng Ro didn't fall in love with Suyu, she still felt sad. Downstairs, he calmed down and looked at the bread in his hand. The expiry date was obviously today. It seemed that Suyu had gone out at night and had just bought it. He even tried to scare her by saying that it might grow fur. This man was a classic example of someone who was tough on the outside but soft on the inside. Zheng Rou's cold heart instantly warmed up. See, you're really a weirdo. But I'm very interested in continuing to fight with you. Zheng Rou smiled and opened the bread to take big bites. The next morning, when Suyu went downstairs, he didn't see the usual breakfast. What's going on today? Don't we need to eat? Suyu asked. Miss Zheng is upstairs putting on makeup. She said that she won't be cooking today and told everyone to go hungry first. We'll eat at Jixin's engagement party at noon, and said. Fuck. Suyu couldn't help but curse. As a godly tycoon, did he really need to eat at someone else's engagement party instead of his own home? If word got out, wouldn't he be laughed at? At this moment, Zheng Rou came downstairs. Suyu had thought that this woman would be dressed up to the nines like the other actresses in his company, with heavy makeup and gorgeous makeup. Unfortunately, he was stunned when he saw her. Chapter 3270. They had thought that a rich girl like Zheng Rou, especially the daughter of a high-ranking official, would have princess syndrome like Song Yisher. The food, the clothes, and the car they drove were all very exquisite. After all, Zheng Rou's father was a high-ranking figure and should wear an evening gown and shoes worth at least 10,000 yuan. However, when Zheng Rou came down, both Suyu and An froze. She was wearing a pair of thin black pencil pants, a pair of high-heeled sandals with black edges, and a navy striped checkered shirt. It was a loose-fitting men's shirt, but it didn't look out of place on her. Not only did it not make her look fat, but it also accentuated her exquisite figure. This method of travel was truly heaven-defying. Her hair was tied up in a simple ponytail, and she wore delicate light makeup instead of heavy makeup. Her lips weren't flaming red. Her lips were painted with colorless lipstick, and the only exaggerated thing was the two relatively large earrings on her ears, which were in the shape of rings. However, it matched her casual outfit very well. Why are you looking at me like that? Is it inappropriate? Zheng Rou was a bit embarrassed. It's okay, Suyu said as he looked up and rubbed the tip of his nose. And gave her a thumbs up and said, handsome. Yes, Zheng Rou was young and not all girls had the aura of a mature older sister. Some girls even had the opposite effect. But Zheng Rou was dressed just right. She wasn't flashy or eye-catching and she wasn't wearing designer clothes. Instead, she wore clothes with no logos and shoes. Although they weren't cheap, they were relatively low-key. But why didn't you wear an evening gown? If you didn't bring one, I can go buy one. It's urgent, Suyu said. No. I think I'm pretty. If I dress up, I'll steal the limelight from the main character. Today is her engagement party. I'd better dress casually. You're so narcissistic. Suyu finally admitted that he met someone who was more narcissistic than him. Is narcissism a form of confidence? Then, Zheng Rou picked up the new Armani sunglasses and put them on her nose. She walked out with a strong aura in her high heels. Then she got into Suyu's Lamborghini. President Su, we should go. It's almost time. Suyu nodded and followed her out and got into his Lamborghini. President Su, where should I sit? And looked aggrieved. It was the first time they went out. Before and drove the car Suyu in. Now that Zheng Rou was in the passenger seat and Suyu was in the driver's seat, there was no space for an just drive any car and follow behind us. Then he stepped on the gas pedal and sped away. At the engagement party, it wasn't a party or people Rou and other people and friends and family. The rest were family and friends. Most of them were Bella and Jixin's relatives. Yang Meirong was in a good mood today. Huamin held his mother's arm and greeted the guests. Qin Chu chatted with Rick on the side. The twins danced with their grandparents like little elves. Hey look, young Master Su is here. The woman beside him. Is she his rumored girlfriend? Yeah. I heard she's pretty. Yeah. She has a good temperament. I don't think she's from an ordinary family. While people talked, Suyu and Zheng Rou walked in. Different from Jian Tong and Zhao Qingya's women, Zheng Rou didn't hold Suyu's hand on purpose. They didn't touch each other and walked in together. Like celebrities walking the red carpet, they walked with ease. Frick. Someone's wine glass fell to the ground. Sis, are you okay? Cece looked at her sister worriedly. Chapter 3271. I'm fine, Nielingxian said in a low voice as she wiped her wet hands. Sis, it's normal for him to have a girlfriend. Don't be like this. I'm worried about you. Cece found that her sister had been absent-minded recently, especially when she saw the rumors about Suyu. Her sister was a very timid person and kept everything to herself. Suyu didn't even know that her sister was sincere. He thought she was just like all the other actresses in the company who wanted to become a phoenix. But Cece knew her sister wasn't like that. Her sister even said that she wished Suyu was an ordinary employee. Then they wouldn't have so many obstacles. But Cece had asked her sister if Suyu wasn't the heir of the Su family and the president of Imperial Star. Would her sister still like him? Nielingxuan's answer was yes. As he was Suyu, she only liked him. Even if the Su family went bankrupt and Suyu ended up on the streets, she would still be with him. Unfortunately, Suyu didn't know her sister's love for him. Handsome Su. Little Bean's sharp eyes spotted Suyu and she immediately ran over. She hugged Suyu's leg tightly. Suyu squatted down and picked Little Bean up lovingly. You're early. Of course. My uncle is engaged. I have to show him some respect, Little Bean said smugly. How's school life these days? Don't mention it. Those kids aren't on the same level as me and my sister. There's a generation gap. They're still young, Little Bean answered like an adult. Suyu laughed heartily. Handsome Su, is this your new nanny? Little Bean glanced at Xingro who was beside him and asked deliberately. When Little Bean said this, her big eyes looked cute as if she didn't do it on purpose. But Xingro knew this little girl was full of hostility toward her. What nanny? Suyu didn't understand. Uncle An said there's a new woman living in your house. She cooks for you, cleans the house and washes Handsome Su's clothes all day long. I'm guessing she's a nanny. Nannies do all these chores, right? Suyu glanced at Xingro awkwardly. The twins had always been mischievous and he could not control the situation. Ho, Little Bean. I'm Suyu's new nanny, Ruru. Xingro tilted her head and said deliberately. How do you know I'm Little Bean? Because they all say that Little Bean is passionate and unrestrained while Pudding is calm and collected. I knew you were Little Bean from the way you rushed over, Xingro guessed. Humph, you think you're smart. You know so much about us. You must have investigated us. What's your motive? Little Bean glared at Xingro. I do have an ulterior motive. I want to be promoted from a junior nanny to a senior nanny, so I need you and your sister to put in a few good words for President Su. Humph, you wish. I'll ask Handsome Su to fire you in a few days. Take your salary and get out of here. Don't do that. My whole family depends on this salary. Don't be so cruel, Little Bean, Xingro continued to say to Little Bean. And chuckled behind them. It seemed Xingro's attitude toward Little Bean was also surprising. Just as Little Bean was about to retort, Huamin let go of his mother's hand and walked over. Shu, your mommy is here, Suyu reminded Little Bean in a low voice. Immediately Little Bean shut up and snuggled up to Suyu's neck. Handsome Su, I want to eat macarons and all of them must be pink. You're here. Huamin looked at Suyu and then at Xingro. The two nodded. Come on in. Everyone's waiting for you inside, Huamin said warmly. Mommy, look, this is Handsome Su's new nanny. She looks rustic, right? She's still wearing Armani glasses in this day and age. What's that saying again? Oh right, I saw the netizens say that the poor wear gold, the rich wear leather and the hooligans like Armani. Hearing Little Bean's words, Huamin felt awkward. Chapter 3272. Little Bean, you're right. When I was in school, the boys in my class called me a female gangster. Xingro smiled, not feeling embarrassed. Miss Xing, I'm sorry. Little Bean is always like that. She likes to talk nonsense. I'll teach her a lesson. It's okay, Dr. Hua. Don't mind the words of a child. After the drama, Huamin was a bit angry and pulled Little Bean out of Suyu's arms. Then he took her to the side. Little Bean, why did you talk to her like that? Mommy, I told you that I hate her. What if Uncle Su likes her? Do you hate her too? Huamin asked her daughter. We'll talk about it when Uncle Su likes her. At least he doesn't like her now. She's here shamelessly. It's annoying. Before Huamin could say anything, Little Bean made a face and ran away. No matter how smart the twins were, they were still children. When a child's nature came out, they were really crazy. As a mother, Huamin didn't listen to her no matter how much she scolded or hit them. She felt sorry for them but was also helpless. Especially after the twins were kidnapped twice, Huamin cherished their mother-daughter relationship even more and rarely hit the twins. But if she didn't hit them, they were really lawless sometimes. Huamin didn't want them to be arrogant and uneducated when they grew up. When the time came, people might say that Huamin and Qinchu's daughters were just SSO. They were just a little rich and uneducated. Qinchu walked over and put his hand on his wife's shoulder. What are you thinking about? You look so lost in thought. I'm thinking that the twins are getting more and more willful. What should I do? Take it easy. They're still young, Qinchu comforted her. But they know everything. They're doing it on purpose. Huamin was helpless. Is it because Little Bean was rude to Suyu's girlfriend? Qinchu asked. You know everything? This place is only so big. Everyone will know even the slightest movement. Yeah. I don't know why, but this kid has a problem with Suyu's girlfriend. Even our calm and witty Pudding doesn't seem to like Zheng, Huamin said worriedly. The two of them have deep feelings for Suyu, so it's normal for them to be xenophobic for a while. They need time to get used to it. I hope so. Cece couldn't bear to see her sister wallowing in grief. Maybe because Rick was there to support her, Cece dragged her sister to Suyu and Zheng. Cece, what are you doing? I'm not going. It's okay, sister. Let's go over and say hello. Then the two sisters walked over to Suyu and the others. Hi, President Su, you're here too. Cece greeted him with a smile. Yeah. Suyu nodded politely. This is... Cece asked Suyu purposely as she looked at Zheng beside him. Nia Lingxian didn't even dare to raise her head to look at Suyu or the woman beside him. This is... Suyu was about to introduce Zheng to him. I'm Zheng. Zheng introduced herself. She didn't emphasize that she was related to Suyu because she knew that if she introduced herself as his girlfriend and Suyu denied it, she would be slapped in the face. Oh. Miss Zheng, you're President Su's rumored girlfriend, right? Cece asked with a smile. Nia Lingxian pinched her sister hard to stop her from asking more questions. She suddenly felt embarrassed. I said it's just a rumor. It's meaningless to ask more, right? Zheng answered vaguely. She didn't admit or deny it. How's your injury? Suyu glanced at Nia Lingxian and asked. As the boss of the company, he vaguely remembered that Nia Lingxian seemed to be slightly injured when she was absent-mindedly filming a fight scene. Sister, say something. President Su cares about you, Cece said loudly on purpose. Chapter 3273. President Su, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. I'll cancel my leave and go back to work soon. Nia Lingxian was always submissive in front of Suyu. It was similar to Hinata's feelings toward Naruto in Naruto. Don't worry. We'll talk about it after you recover. Thank you, President Su. Then, we won't disturb you anymore. Then Nia Lingxian quickly pulled her sister away. Sis, what are you doing? Why are you leaving so quickly? Talk more. Cece was displeased with her sister's behavior. Don't you see President Su is with his girlfriend? Let's not disturb them, she said sadly. On the other side, Zheng looked puzzled at first and then glanced at Suyu. This girl also likes you, right? Suyu, come on. Tell me how many other girls like you. I'll gather them all together and get rid of them all, Zheng said jokingly. Suyu, I'm joking. Don't look at me so seriously. I'm not used to it. Okay, since we're here, let's do our own thing. You go to your business or something. I'm going to find something to eat. I didn't eat breakfast this morning and my stomach hurts. Then Zheng turned and dashed to the dessert area. He was also confused. Just as he was about to find Wei Liao and Tang Chuan, Pudding suddenly appeared out of nowhere. She pulled Suyu's hand. Handsome Su. Hey Pudding. Why didn't I see you just now? I went to the washroom. I see. I was wondering why you weren't with Little Bean. Suyu picked up Pudding and put her on a high chair. Then he sat down beside her. So you got Pudding a glass of orange juice. Handsome Su, is that woman the new one in your family? Yeah. What's her background? Pudding asked casually. Unlike Little Bean, Pudding was always rational and asked about her enemy first. He's from the provincial capital. But how should I put it? He's the second generation of an official. Because of Zheng father's special identity, Suyu didn't want to be too ostentatious. Oh, no wonder. They have the power to force their way into your home, Pudding said calmly as she stuck the straw into the quilt. Little Bean scolded her just now. Ah, what's wrong? You're not going to give her a hard time, right? Why? Is your heart aching? What a joke. How could that be? If you want to be Suyu's woman, you'd be too weak if you can't withstand such a small storm. Suyu joked. Handsome Sue, are you really going to be with her? Love isn't a game. Pudding looked away and said in all seriousness. Pudding, what I'm doing might be the best ending, isn't it? Your mommy might be able to live a better life. Suyu's voice was very small. Pudding knew Suyu didn't really like Zheng Ro and wasn't happy about it. Handsome Sue, you're a good man. There must be a woman who is good enough for you. I hope so. So, you have to be careful about marriage. Don't marry this woman easily. At least, don't make any important decisions before you know why she wants to get close to you, Pudding said. Of course. Living in my home doesn't mean I'm going to marry her. Besides, there's nothing between us. Don't think too much about it. Suyu flicked Pudding's head and spoke from the bottom of his heart. Seeing Suyu's attitude, Pudding guessed Zheng Ro's current situation. She smiled faintly. Different from her sister, she wouldn't give Zheng Ro a hard time, but she didn't like her either. At lunchtime, a funny scene happened. Everyone was in pairs. Even Gao Buyuan and Wei Yunchu were there. They sat with the twins. Even Suyu, who had been single for thousands of years, brought a female companion, which was rare. Tang Chuan, on the other hand, looked out of place. Mr. Tang, do you want to give a speech before lunch? Wei Liao asked deliberately. Dr. Hua, I always thought that you were the most honest and just person here. You wouldn't kick someone when they're down. It seems like you want to torture me to death. Tang Chuan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I really didn't want to, but I got excited when I saw you trying to steal the title of high IQ from me. Huamin deliberately provoked Tang Chuan. You bad bastards. I hate you guys. Tang Chuan pretended to cry. And Yang, you two can do it too. We've already tortured him, you two won't make a difference. Gao Ran looked at Yang and Chen Jia and said. We don't need to. Young Master Tang is already miserable enough. Yang smiled gently. Torture him, of course. If you guys don't torture him today, I won't be happy. Come on. I'm happy. Tang Chuan video called Qin Ning and then stood up to cheer. Chapter 3275. Since young Master Tang said so, then I won't hold back. Yang looked at Chen Jie gently. I've been with Jie for so long and we've never fought or gotten angry. I really think I've found the right wife. Whoa. I'm jealous. Gao Ran looked envious. What do you mean? Do you hate that I always fight with you? Zhu Lingling immediately pulled Gao Ran's ear. Hey, no. Honey, don't be impulsive. Impulsiveness is the devil. Gao Ran immediately comforted his wife. Big brother Rick, do you dare to show off too? Tang Chuan looked at Rick and jokingly provoked him. Everyone knew that Rick always kept a low profile. Even if he used WeChat, he rarely posted anything on his WeChat moments. Sisalik leaned on Rick's chest and said coquettishly, Our Rick calls me Baby Cece in private. Oh, it's so sweet. Zhu Lingling chimed in. Really? Huamin looked at Rick with a half smile. Rick's face immediately turned red. I think it's very believable. Wei Liao also guessed. Bro, do you want to say it right now so we can hear it? Qin Chu rarely teased Rick. Rick, honey, just say it once. Your baby will hear it. She'll love daddy a lot, Cece said coquettishly as she touched her round belly. Sure enough, Rick didn't refuse for the sake of the baby. Finally, he said in a low voice, Baby Cece, stop messing around. Let's talk about this at home. As soon as Rick finished speaking, the entire place was in an uproar. Finally, everyone looked at Suyu. Lord Su, since it's your first time here with a girlfriend, show off. Don't hold back. Give us a good show. How about you kiss her for 3 minutes? Tang Chuan teased. 3 minutes? Come here, I'll kiss you. Suyu waved at Tang Chuan. Why did you kiss me? I told you to kiss your girlfriend. Tang Chuan corrected him. Get lost. The children are watching. Don't play with me. Suyu declined politely, somewhat embarrassed. Hey, Uncle Su. We can close our eyes. Wei Yunchu was also a smart person. He added fuel to the fire. Brat, whose side are you on? Suyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he glanced at Wei Liao's son. The twins didn't speak because they didn't seem to like Zheng Ro. Before Suyu could say anything, Zheng Ro panicked. I remember that I ordered a bowl of hot noodle soup. Why hasn't it been served yet? I'll go and urge the kitchen. How you guys can chat first. Then, under everyone's gaze, Zheng Ro ran away. Well, your date was scared away. It seems she's a shy girl. Tang Chuan spread his hands and laughed. Do you think everyone is as thick-skinned as you? Suyu chuckled. You've tortured me, haven't you? I'm not dead yet. Fortunately, I'm strong enough to still have a breath, Tang Chuan said smugly. At this moment, Little Bean quietly picked up the coconut milk sago and ran to Gao Buin. Buin, try this. It's delicious. Little Bean's voice was deliberately sweet. Chapter 3276. You can't handle it? My sister hasn't even done anything yet. Little Bean looked at him with disdain. Tang Chuan glanced at Pudding. Pudding, Uncle Tang treats you well. I know, Pudding said calmly. So, you won't treat me like your heartless sister, right? Yeah. Pudding nodded. That's my good niece. So, I'm a good friend and didn't add insult to injury when everyone was kicking you. Uncle Tang, how are you going to repay me? Pudding continued to ask. Tang Chuan suddenly had a bad feeling. So, Uncle Tang, you have a limited edition tea set. Can you give it to me? Which tea set? Tang Chuan played dumb. The one Uncle Tang brought back from Sea Nation. If it's too expensive, I'd be too embarrassed to accept it. It's not that expensive, but it's hard to get. Tang Chuan looked sad. So, even though I'm a good friend, you still don't want to give it to me, right? Pudding asked deliberately. I can pay Uncle Tang. No need. It's vulgar to talk about money, so you agree to give it to me? Thank you, Uncle Tang. Pudding said happily. Hey, kid, you win. Although you didn't kick me when I was down, you extorted a tea set from me. I'd rather kick you when you're down. Ning Ning, come back quickly. I'm going to die because of these bad guys. Tang Chuan whined to Qin Ning, who was watching the video on the other end of the phone. It's okay. Good boy, I'll be back soon. You gave Pudding a tea set and you took so long. You're so stingy, Qin Ning said. Fuck. I'm stingy. Do you have a conscience? I just think it's hard to get. It's not a matter of money. You always say that we're a family. Is that a lie? Qin Ning asked. Of course not. That's why I had to give you face. Tang Chuan was on the verge of tears. Everyone laughed throughout the meal. The most high-profile Tang Chuan, who loved to show off his love the most, was played to a pulp today. It could be said that he had avenged Lord Su for the 1,000-year-old bachelor. Pudding also extorted a tea set. Just like that, Xixin's engagement party ended with laughter. It was really low-key and not a single media member was there. Throughout the entire process, there were two people who attended in a very low-key manner and did not sit together with everyone else. They were Shin Mingxi and Wei Ying. The two of them sat at another table. Moreover, the two of them were not even at the same table. They simply greeted each other. After the dinner party, Wei Ying walked out. Shin Mingxi saw that she came in a friend's car, so he went up to her and asked, "You didn't drive here?" "No, I hurt my foot." Wei Ying smiled. "What's wrong?" Shin Mingxi immediately looked down at Wei Ying's feet. "I sprained it 2 days ago when I was playing badminton. It hurts a lot. I didn't dare to drive because I was afraid it would be unsafe." "How could you be so careless?" Shin Mingxi's face was dark as if he was blaming her. I didn't pay attention. I didn't think it would hurt so much." "Did you go to the hospital to see it?" "Yes, I did. They prescribed medicine and gave me a hot compress. I think I'll have to rest for a while. My mom often visits an old Chinese doctor. I heard he's very good at massaging. I'll ask her later. You can go see him. It's not a small matter. Don't be careless." "I know. Thank you, big brother Mingxi." "Then I'll drive you back. It's not easy for you to get in and out of the car. I'm driving a Mercedes-Benz today." Shin Mingxi pointed at his car, knowing that the Mercedes-Benz was very comfortable. Wei Ying was about to speak when she heard someone call from behind her. "Ying Ying." Chapter 3277. Big Brother. Wei Ying looked back and saw Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei walking out. Let's go home. Oh. Wei Ying nodded and turned to look at Shen Mingxi apologetically. Big brother Mingxi, you don't have to drive me home. I'll take my brother's car. Go back and rest. Then Wei Ying turned to leave. Shen Mingxi was a bit disappointed. He didn't even look at Wei Ying when she chased after him. Wei Ying was no longer the silly girl she used to be. She knew when to speak and when to act. She had a good reputation in the socialite circle and it was difficult for Shen Mingxi to see her. After Wei Ying got into the car as expected, Wei Liao's face turned cold. How many times have I told you not to have anything to do with that person? Big brother, we're just greeting each other. Don't get agitated. How can I not get agitated? I still remember how shameful you were. Okay. Ying's back, right? Don't talk so much. Jiang Xiaowei couldn't stand her husband scolding his little sister and immediately spoke up for her. Dad, don't scold Auntie. She's very obedient now. Wei Yunchu also helped. You're indeed my nephew. Wei Ying smiled and rubbed Wei Yunchu's head. Of course. My auntie is completely different from before. Today Pudding told me that the relationship between my auntie and Uncle Shen is, if I were to describe it in an online slang it would be, you used to ignore me but now I'm out of your league. Pooh. Pudding told you that? Wei Ying chuckled. Yeah, Pudding is amazing. She knows everything and made a lot of money by trading stocks. Mommy, I think I have to catch up with her. Otherwise, the gap between us will widen sooner or later. We won't have common topics to talk about and won't be on the same level. Then we won't be on the same path. Ha, Wei Liao, listen to your son. Jiang Xiaowei burst into laughter. Our son was taught by you and our daughter-in-law was also chosen by you. Wei Liao was also happy. Yeah, Pudding can't be wrong, so we have to raise our son to be outstanding. He doesn't have to be too outstanding, just like his father-in-law, Qin Chu. Sister-in-law, if this isn't outstanding, then aren't the two of you too ambitious? Won't you make things difficult for my nephew? Wei Liao asked. Oh, he likes Pudding. He's interested in everything Pudding does and is very motivated. Jiang Xiaowei looked at her son with pride. A famous five-star hotel in Brazil. When Lu Yan opened the door, she saw Amy stuffing something into Qiao Fei's hands. What are you doing? Lu Yan's face turned cold. Boss. Aren't you on a mission? Amy pulled back her hands in a panic, but the thing was still in Qiao Fei's hands. It seems I came back at the wrong time. Lu Yan sneered. I didn't mean it that way. Amy was still trying to explain. Qiao Fei didn't say a word, still holding the thing Amy had stuffed into his hands. He didn't even look closely at what it was. Lu Yan walked up to Qiao Fei, pulled the thing from his hands and held it in her own hands. A sachet. Not bad. You two are in the mood for leisure. Lu Yan smiled contemptuously. It was a hand-sewn sachet. It was red in vintage style, embroidered with the word peace on one side and Qiao Fei on the other. It was a token of love that a little girl gave to her sweetheart. Qiao Fei, you're awesome? Lu Yan turned to look at Qiao Fei and said with disappointment. Chapter 3278. What does it have to do with me? Qiao Fei was as calm as ever. You like the sachet, right? Lu Yan continued to ask. No. Then why do you still want it? She forced it on me. You're not in the wrong at all. Don't tell me you couldn't tell AI me was interested in you after all this time? Qiao Fei, boss, shut up. Lu Yan glared at Amy fiercely, which meant that Amy was not going to interrupt them when they were talking. Amy lowered her head and didn't dare to speak. So what? It's her business who she likes. It's my business who I like, Qiao Fei replied calmly. Oh really? Then who do you like? Lu Yan asked him. Who do you think? How would I know? Lu Yan said in a huff. Lu Yan, do you have a conscience? Qiao Fei looked disappointed. Oh, now the person who's cheating on me is accusing me of being heartless. Qiao Fei, does everyone in your family like to slander others? I'm not going to take the blame for this. Lu Yan was furious. My family? Do you think I'm the same as them? Qiao Fei looked sad. The Qiao family had always been heartless, whether it was the eldest son Qiao Imo, the second son Qiao Nan, or the third son Qiao Fei. It was rare to find a trace of warmth in them. But Qiao Fei felt that he was still different from his brothers. Xiaonan was the one who was cruel and merciless. Isn't it? Isn't your surname Qiao? I thought you'd be grateful to me after I left my family and came out with you. I was wrong, Qiao Fei said. Grateful? Are you kidding? You eat, drink and use my things. How can I be grateful to you? If I have too much money to spend? If I throw it into the water I can at least hear the sound. I don't need to spend so much money. Lu Yan sneered. Yan, are you serious? Are you kidding? The problem is I want to be serious, but what about you? You went out behind my back and flirted with my daughter? Lu Yan roared. I didn't flirt with her. Then what are you doing? Why is the sachet still in your hand? Lu Yan asked. At this moment, Amy knelt before Lu Yan with a thud. Boss, I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself and fell in love with young Master Qiao. It has nothing to do with him. He doesn't know about this. I spent a long time making this sachet. I just wanted young Master Qiao to wear it to tell him that he's safe. I know you're the master and I'm the servant, so I didn't dare to have too much hope and fantasize. Boss, please punish me. It really has nothing to do with young Master Qiao. So, you want to take it all on your own? Lu Yan asked. It was my fault to begin with. I didn't want to affect the relationship between boss and young Master Qiao because of my subordinates. What's the point of saying that now? You're already affected. Lu Yan took out her gun and pointed it at Amy's head. His other subordinates were also scared stiff. Boss, don't be rash. Get out of my way. I'll take care of my own business, Lu Yan roared. The other subordinates immediately scrambled out of the room, leaving only Lu Yan, Qiao Fei and Amy in the room. Amy, who gave you the balls to steal my man? Lu Yan stared at her coldly. It was as if Lu Yan only needed to lightly press the trigger to kill Amy. Chapter 3279. Boss, I can't control who I like. Young Master Qiao is so outstanding. But sometimes you order him around like he's your subordinate instead of your boyfriend. I feel bad for young Master Qiao. Bad? Who do you think you are? I know I'm qualified, but I just want to say that you're still young and shouldn't think too much about money, power, or war. Those are all worldly possessions. It's not easy to meet someone you like in your life. Once you miss it, you won't get it again. I hope you can cherish young Master Qiao. Do I need you to tell me that? Boss, just do it. I know you will definitely kill me because your personality is like this. You simply won't listen to other people's advice. However, I still want to say this. You can ignore other people's words, but you must listen to young Master Qiao's words. He truly loves you. Amy, shut up. I don't need you to tell me what to do. Qiao Fei also felt that it was strange to hear his inner thoughts coming out of the mouth of a female subordinate. Young Master Qiao, I'm just defending you. I want to tell boss how much you love her. If she can't feel it, it's useless even if you say it 100 times. Young Master Qiao scolded Amy. You're singing the same tune. So you're saying that I'm trying to break up a couple? Lu Yan continued to mock them. Yan, don't mess around, okay? I'm messing around? You two did these shameless things behind my back and now you're saying I'm messing around? What's wrong with us? Did you catch us in bed? Qiao Fei was angry that Lu Yan kept calling him a traitor. She was slandering him. Caught us in bed? If I really caught you in bed, do you think you'd still be alive? Wouldn't you be a corpse? Lu Yan was furious. It's not a big deal. Why are you making a big deal out of it? Besides, Yan, when did you lose confidence in yourself? You think you're not as good as one of your subordinates? Qiao Fei looked at her indifferently. Yeah. Qiao Fei, when did we become like this? If it was before, you would have already told me about AI Me's feelings for you. But from Australia to Brazil, AI Me was extremely attentive to you several times, but you didn't mention a word to me. What? Do you want to play with women behind my back? If I don't let you sleep with me, you can't take it physically, right? There are many women who sleep with you in Brazil. There are famous models and celebrities. If you want, I can buy you 100. But why do you want to touch my woman? Rabbits don't eat the grass near their burrows. Let me clarify again. I didn't touch your people. It was your people who kept approaching me. Qiao Fei was also helpless. Then by not rejecting her outright, you're giving her hope, aren't you? You made Amy think she had a chance, didn't you? What do you think of me? We've been together for so long, don't you trust me at all? Brian, you're so sad. Yeah, I'm so sad. Why did I believe that you loved me deeply back then? So because of this small matter, you overturned everything between us. It's meaningless to say this now. Xiao Fei, I'll give you a chance to explain. Come on, kill AI me in front of me and the misunderstanding between us will be over. Lu Yen suddenly tossed the gun in her hand to Xiao Fei and said word by word. After receiving the gun, Xiao Fei glanced at Lu Yen with a complicated expression. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.